Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today, well, today is Monday Fun Day.
I stop what you're doing, cause I'm about to ruin the image of me that you're used to. I look money, a king bee making honey, see? Deep state, I hope you're ready for me. Now gather round, I'm the new sheriff in town. All my people rise up and stand your ground. Now drink up all the Diet Coke you got on your shelf. So just let me introduce myself, my name is Trump D. I like my mashed potatoes lumpy. Fake news, oh how I like to punk thee. That little sniper on the slope tin, he took a shot but he missed me. I don't fall, y'all, I'm like the ever-ready bunny. Still going strong and spunky. So put on your big boy pants. Come on, let's do the dance.
The Trumpy dance is your chance to do the Trump.
Come on, do the Trumpty Trump. Come on and do the Trumpty Trump. Check me out, y'all. We do the Trumpty Trump. Just watch me do the Trumpty Trump. Yeah. Do you know what I'm doing? We do the Trumpty Trump. Come on, everybody do the Trumpty Trump. It's time to do the Trumpty Trump. Yeah.
Oh, welcome to Monday. It's fun. We're having fun. And no, we're not just, well, yeah, we're having fun because Trump is a fun president. Whether you like Trump, whether you dislike Trump, you got to agree he is entertaining. And so as long as he is going to be entertaining, we are going to utilize him to entertain you. Because that's what we try to do here. We try to do infotainment, right? We try to bring you a little bit of news, try to bring you a little bit of commentary, try to give you our opinion. We try to be interesting, right? Sometimes we are, sometimes we're not. Most of the time, I'd like to think that we're interesting. Now, admittedly, I think we're more interesting when Mike is here because you never know what Mike is going to say. But, I do my part. I think I do my part. At least I hope you think I do my part. I haven't seen our numbers dropping off, so I must be doing something okay, or at least good enough for you guys to continue to hang around. So in any case, hey, by the way, let me know if you would be, since Mike's going to be gone for another week or so. Maybe I've been thinking about having guest hosts on, someone on to kind of throw things off of. If you think that's a good idea, go ahead and let us know in the comments. If you think that's a good idea, maybe I'll see if I can set something up, get a couple of folks in here. We've had some guest hosts before. So if you think that'd be interesting, man, just let us know. Would love to hear your thoughts on that. Anyway, it was a very, very interesting weekend. Mostly chill for me. I watched some UFC. UFC is always fun. Watched some of the No Kings rallies, which we're going to talk a little bit about. It's kind of like watching, you know how they're always making remakes of shows, and they try to bring back some of the old people from the show. Well, that's what it kind of looks like with some of these No Kings rallies, because I would just, as you saw from the title of the show, No Kings rallies march equals old white Democrat Marxist call for communist revolution. That's pretty much what it is. It's actually kind of sad looking because, they're there fighting for the migrants and for the people of color, supposedly, and the trans people. And it's funny because it just looks like a bunch of old blue hairs. And when I say blue hairs, I'm not referring to just old people. I'm referring to like old people who've dyed their hair blue. It's really kind of weird. But hey, you know what? To each, let me be politically, to each their own. How about that? All right. Okay, let's go ahead and start off our show the way that we usually do. And we'll start off by giving a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with the folks at Hitman Industries. They make rifle and pistol caliber barrels. They're available for you to purchase at any length. Just visit them at hitmanindustries.net. If you've purchased an AR in the last few years, there's a good chance you already have one of their barrels. Might as well get another one. Then you've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect conservatives at all levels of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. They are the largest and fastest growing grassroots Republican organization in the state of California, and they support only conservatives. Check them out today at cragop.org. That's cragop.org. If you want to be a part of California's future today, you got to join CRA. And then we've got the best in concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market. You will find them at hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com. That means helping Americans wear guns. And they want to help you by giving you a fat discount on your hog holster. Just use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word. Just like it is right up there. And you are going to get a discount on us. So check them out today, hogholsters.com. And then you've got the place where you can find all things tactical except the gun. As you are looking to make purchases for your group, for your club, for your unit, for your department, for your business, you have got to check them out. They've got a huge selection of tactical gear. They've got a competitive prices, especially if you're purchasing in bulk, if you're doing group pricing. And they have really, really, really good customer service. Let me tell you, you need to check them out today. That's uscombatgear.com, the place where you can find all things tactical except the gun. Now, if you are watching this program during the 3 o'clock hour on the West Coast, or during the 6 o'clock hour on the East Coast, or anywhere there in between, well, then you're watching us live, which means we're taking your comments. And I would, quite frankly, I would love to hear what you have to say about today's program. I would love to talk with you about it. I mean, otherwise it's just me, running off at the chops. And I always prefer to hear from y'all. As whether you agree or disagree, I got no problem. Especially, I actually encourage you to comment if you disagree, because that will then give us the opportunity to mock you.
Oh, wow. Was that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
We will mock you. That is how it rolls. Okay, let's go into today's stories. Over the weekend, we had the No Kings rally, where masses of people got together to demonstrate their lack of understanding of exactly, of American civics and how our government works and what a king is and what a king isn't. And exactly how, let's just put it this way. If we actually had a king, do you really think that king would allow you to be marching in the streets saying no kings? I don't think so. But what this really came down to was this was really a group of a bunch of, for lack of a better term, Marxists. But first of all, it was amazing to me how extremely white it was. And I only point this out, not because, I'm trying to be, not because I'm all about race or anything like that, but I need you to understand this is the party of diversity, right? These are supposed to be the people who are down for, down for the brown people, down for the black people, down for everybody. And yet, if you look at the, like all of the imagery that's coming out of these No Kings rallies, it's a bunch of old white people, right? And not just old white people just doing random, it's a bunch of old white people, and by the way, and some young white people, because when you start talking about supporting Marxism, well, that's exactly what you wind up getting. And, or supporting Marxism or communism. And let's be real. There were significant numbers of people out there. It wasn't like just this random thing of Marxists. I mean, they were out there in force.
Working class revolution! Working class revolution!
Solution! There is only one solution! Communist revolution!
Communist revolution!
There is only one solution!
There is only one solution! Communist revolution!
Yeah! Communism is gonna win, baby!
Up for liberation! Down, down for their occupation! Down, down their occupation! Down for their occupation! Down, down their occupation! Hands off the Middle East! From the belly of the beast! From the belly of the beast! Hands off the...
And by the way, they weren't just out there just chanting chants, mindless chants, because basically many of them were quite mindless, I am sure. I have no problem telling you that. But there were also many of them who were out there who very distinctly understood, yeah, we want communism. And they don't want the wimpy, Chinese kind of communism. They want old school, like Stalin, Leninist style communism.
Communists of America, we have nothing to do with the Party of Socialism and Liberation, and I agree that China is a capitalist country. Capitalism was restored in China through the reforms of the 1970s and 80s, and now is no longer a socialist country. It is not a beacon for the working class. And in fact, a lot of our analysis stems from the fact that there is this inter-imperialist rivalry between decaying U.S. imperialism and the young up-and-comers of China and Russia. We have no funding from any Chinese billionaires. We are an explicitly class-independent organization funded and built by our members here all around the world. We're part of the Revolutionary Communist International, which is seeking to build a similar party in all of the countries of the world so that we can overthrow global capitalism. We are explicitly class independent, like I said, which means that we do not align ourselves with the Democrats or the Republicans or any billionaire donors. We are building a party for the working class. And if there are organizations that are explicitly class independent, we're happy to work with them as long as we're able to maintain our banner, our slogans, our demands, and that is our condition for union. As for the party of PSL, I have heard that they are getting funding from some Chinese billionaire or something like this, and I have no comment on this. This is not our party. We are the Revolutionary Communists of America, and we, like I said, we stand firmly on the basis of class independence, and we seek to sharpen that class line wherever we possibly can, because it is the Epstein class. We do not want to beg at the feet of the Epstein class. We want to rise up and demand what is rightfully ours through organizing for revolution. And I think that the tactics of us and PSL will vary on this front. We stand firmly against both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Democratic Party is not an avenue by which we can accomplish real working class change. I think Zoran Mamdani has shown this. He's come up against the limits of collaborating with the capitalist class. What we need is an independent organization for the working class, because the ICE movement showed that events are going to push thousands of people, even millions across the country, into the streets demanding change from the capitalist system when they've had enough. And we are positioning ourselves to be ready for that moment. We do not think that it is going to come from voting for the right person or creating smart policy. All of this legal system is built upon the capitalist and imperialist system. These are not policy choices. This is baked into the nature of this system. And so we stand firmly opposed to that. We champion the working class.
So what I need you to understand here, and the reason why I let that play for a while is because I want you to hear what it is that they're saying, right? Now, he's being very and I will say this, he is being honest about what it is that he wants. They don't want election change. They don't want to win at the ballot box. They want to tear down our form of government. They want to tear down our democratic form of government. See, the democratic socialists are pretending. They're pretending, they're saying, well, we want to give people an opportunity to vote and democratically choose to let the government take over everything because it'll be a government of the people. But that's not what they really want. What they really want is they just want takeover. They want the smart people, the people they deem to be the smart people, because to them, the smart people are the moral people. They're the righteous people. They are the people. There's no way that they are going to set things up so that there is an unequal system. Oh, no. How dare they? They could not do such a thing. Of course, that's exactly what it is that they're going to do. Because guess what? Every single time, what that dude right there said, every single time someone does that, they wind up setting up. There's the party, and then there's everyone else. There are those who are in the most favored status, and then there is everybody else. Now, the one area where they do start to succeed is everyone does become more equal. People become more equally oppressed. They become more equally poor. They become more equally destitute and dying of diseases. Communism has killed more people than any other disease put together. We're talking hundreds of millions of people have died as a result of communism. In some cases because of violence. In some cases because of lack of resources and lack of food. They run out of energy. Look at what the institution or the nationalizing of energy has done in Venezuela. Venezuela was one of the most prosperous countries, if not the most prosperous countries other than the United States, in the Americas. Then they started nationalizing their industries, including energy. And now you have people who are starving. Same exact thing has happened in Cuba. They nationalized their industries. If it hadn't been for money coming to them and oil coming to them, if it hadn't been for oil coming to them from Venezuela, and it hadn't been for money coming to them from Russia and Iran to prop them up, they would have collapsed a long time. There's a reason why they are now dealing with national blackouts. There's a reason why they are now starving, because we've choked off at least two sources of their oil and their money. The people who are subsidizing them, we've choked them off. And that's why Cuba is now in danger of falling. It never works. It didn't work in Mao's China. Now, the one thing that they started to realize in China was this. And by the way, it's the same exact thing that they learned in the Slavic countries, right? Where they instituted socialism, they nationalized the industries, and they realized, well, once we nationalize it, if there's no incentive for people to work, they won't. If there's no incentive for people to create, they don't. If there's no incentive for people to be industrious, they will not be industrious. Which means, because here's the problem. Here's the reason why they won't. Because if I'm working hard and I see dude over here there is working hard, or dude over there is not working hard, why does he get the same rewards that I get? Why is it that he gets exactly the same stuff that I get? I'm doing all the work. And so what happens is, I will then decide, well, if I'm going to get the same thing, then maybe I just shouldn't work. And what we're doing here in the United States, and it's a little disingenuous when we I won't say disingenuous. It's a little off the mark when we accuse Democrats of being socialists or Marxists, because we're not there yet, but we're heading that direction. We right now have the lowest labor participation rate of any time since we started measuring that. That's the percentage of people in the economy who are actually working. Able-bodied workers who are choosing to not work. And we've got a huge percentage of them because they're getting enough money from the government and mommy and daddy to just sit home and do nothing. And so now there are people who are working hard who are looking at them and like, well, maybe if I decided that I wasn't going to work hard anymore, I could live off that little bit if I didn't have to worry about working hard. If I didn't have to worry about working at all. And so they don't. They're hoping to get those numbers. And here, by the way, here's the problem with the quote unquote Democratic Socialists, because the Democratic Socialists realize one thing: if I can force the Democratic part of that socialist, and I can get the freeloaders, I can convince the freeloaders that all you have to do is vote. Let me clarify. All you have to do is convince the unproductive people that they can vote to take stuff away from the productive people. Once they realize that in a democratic system, then the democratic system falls apart. Then it no longer works. And that's the direction which we are heading. A huge, huge percentage of American households depend on a government check in one kind or another. Some sort of government subsidy, whether it's Social Security, whether it's welfare, whether it's Obamacare, whether it's you work for the government. I mean, a huge percentage of people are dependent on the government to make a living. Anyway, I just wanted to share all that with you, to share that is who is running these protests. And the worst part is that the mainstream media will not communicate this stuff to you. They will not tell you that this thing is funded and paid for by Chinese propaganda organizations. It's bought and paid for by Marxist and socialist organizations that want to overthrow our government. These are the folks who are paying for this stuff. And the people who are out there marching, they're not you and I. They're not people who are like, look, I just want to know that if I work hard, I can get ahead, right? I want to know that my government is doing the best they can with the resources that they have to make sure if I'm sending my kids to a public school, that they're getting a good education, that our roads are safe, that the police and fire show up when they're needed. That's where most of us are, right? That's not where these folks are. As far as they're concerned, all of those things are fascism. They want all of them to go. All of those things are part of all those things need to go. They're gone. Get time to get rid of them and burn it all down. And out of the ashes will rise this phoenix. I don't know exactly what that Phoenix looks like. I don't know exactly what it's going to do. All I know is every other society that has depended on that Phoenix has been sadly disappointed. Hmm. Well, and I talk about sadly disappointed. There are a lot of people right now who either live in or formerly live in Los Angeles who are very disappointed with Los Angeles, with California, the land of opportunity. And for generations, for most of my life, California has been a place where people came to seek their opportunity. Right, my parents came here from Providence, Rhode Island, seeking their future. Right, people moved from all over the country, if not all over the world, to come to the United States, in particular to come to California, because they knew it was a place of opportunity. Well, sadly, and by the way, no place more exemplified the ability to live the American dream than Los Angeles, because that was a place where you could go and become a star, right? Well, evidently that doesn't appear to be the case anymore, as the luster, the shine has started to come off of the LA's star. Anyway, there's a story out right now, and it's over at the California Post, denoting mass exodus from Los Angeles revealed in shocking new figures. Now we know people are leaving California, but this is a place. Los Angeles is a place that is exemplifies the takeover of wokeness in the state of California. I mean, almost all of the bad decisions that the California legislature makes are made by politicians that come out of Los Angeles. Let me read a little bit of this to you. It says here, tens of thousands of residents are fleeing Los Angeles County, raising fresh questions about the region's future as economic pressures mount. The region recorded the largest population drop of any in the nation between July 2024 and July 2025, according to newly released estimates from the U.S. Census Bureau. The data, published March 26th, shows roughly 54,000 residents left the county during that 1 year period. The losses mark a continuation of a steady slide for the nation's most populous county. Once the home to more than 10 million people in 2020, Los Angeles County's population has now dipped to under 9.7 million, KTLA reported. While the raw number of departures is eye-catching, experts say the broader trend may be even more concerning. Fewer people are coming in place of those who are leaving. Neighboring regions appear to be benefiting. Riverside and San Bernardino counties together gained more than 21,000 residents over the same period, according to the data. While Las Vegas metropolitan area also saw an influx of 20,000. Despite the overflow, Los Angeles County still dwarfs every other county in the U.S., with nearly double the population of the second largest Cook County in Illinois. The exodus is not limited to Los Angeles. Across California, population declines are becoming more widespread, and a sharp drop in immigration is playing a major role. Now, I want you to get this, and this is the thing. This is the thing you need to get out of this, right? They just noted a sharp drop in immigration. So, a couple of things. One, people are not migrating to California, right? We've seen a reduction in migration to the United States as a whole because there's been a significant dip in illegal immigration. See, when they measure these statistics, they don't differentiate between legal and illegal immigration. We have not seen a dip in illegal immigration to the state of California. Well, to a certain degree we have, but we haven't seen as huge a dip, largely because people are still moving from other places where they were in the United States, illegal immigrants, coming to the state of California because we are a sanctuary state. Meaning they come here, we provide benefits, right? We provide benefits and resources to those who are in the country illegally. We incentivize them to come to California. So as we have people who are coming to California, by the way, this is the other thing that they're not telling you in these numbers, is it's not just how many people are leaving versus how many people are coming. It's who's leaving, versus who is coming. The people who are coming are largely dependent. When I say dependent on government resources. They are largely unskilled or low-skilled workers. The people leaving are largely business owners. They tend to be more experienced business owners. They tend to be people who have more money, who have greater disposable income. We've already seen, and we've talked about it on this show, we have seen a loss of about 1.5 or $1.5 trillion in wealth leave the state of California because of the proposed billionaires tax. And we already know it's going to be even worse because, well, we saw what happened when Massachusetts put their millionaires tax in place. Now, once again, they're not going to tell you this. They're not going to admit this. But as soon as it comes time to start collecting the tax dollars and they see that the high income earners aren't there, do you think they are going to cut the programs? Do me a favor, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you think they are going to cut. I don't see any hands. Bueller? Nope, not a single hand in the air. Because you know they're not. They're just going to change who they are taxing. They're going to go from taxing the billionaires to taxing the millionaires. And can I tell you who the millionaires are? If you own a home in a metropolitan area of California, and you've owned that home for a significant period of time, maybe, you haven't refinanced it. Let's say you've got, I don't know, $500,000 in equity, right? That goes towards your wealth. All right. Let's say you've been diligent and you've been putting money away for retirement. You've been putting money into your 401k for 20 some odd years, right? 30 years. Let's say you got $500,000, $1 million, or let's just say $500,000, 600,000, $500,000, say $500,000, right? Maybe you got a couple of cars or a boat. Guess what? You're now a millionaire. Just added it all up. You are a millionaire. You are now who they are going to be going after. So in other words, you did the responsible thing, right? You saved your money. You bought a house, so that instead of paying rent, instead of spending money on rent, you were investing in a home and owning property and gaining equity. You are now going to be part of the millionaire class that they are going to be coming after. Because, well, they can't cut their programs. What about the children? Because that's what they're going to say, even though the overwhelming majority of that money is never going to be seen by the children. It's going to go to benefit some bureaucrat, some politician somewhere. Anyway, folks, people in Los Angeles are recognizing, first of all, not only is it probably one of the most expensive places in the world, if at least the United States, to live, everyone recognizes that it has gone way downhill, way downhill. That it's not safe there in many places, that the quality of the services that you should be receiving, you are not. A lot of businesses that you would like to frequent have left. It is very expensive. It's not just expensive to own a home there. It's just expensive because of the taxes, because of the regulations, because there's not enough homes being built, because they made it so that it's almost impossible to make money building homes in California unless you charge a boatload of money. And so that is what is going on in Los Angeles, California. And trust me, we've got a gubernatorial election coming up. And unless one of the two Republicans winds up getting elected, and there's a chance that they could both wind up in the runoff in our jungle primary. But if we get another Democrat, I guarantee you it's only going to get worse, because there's everybody that is on the ballot is worse than Gavin Newsom. They really are. They are worse than Gavin Newsom. And that's saying something. Having lived under 8 years of Gavin Newsom, watching what he did in San Francisco, and then watching what he's doing to the state of California, I can tell you that it's a lot. It takes a lot to do worse than him, but he is succeeding. Okay. So this next one here, and I bring you these stories, and I realize these are not huge national news, but I want to keep reminding you, if you want to know why ICE is out there, why they're going after these criminals in the streets, why they are seeking to deport people, it is for instances like this because the media won't tell you about these things. They will not warn you. They will not tell you about the danger that has entered into our country and the danger that that is posing to the people of the United States. This being reported by Breitbart, it says Biden released illegal alien charged with 2 murders in North Carolina Sanctuary County. An illegal alien released into the United States by former President Joe Biden's administration is accused of 2 murders in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, a sanctuary jurisdiction. On Monday, the Department of Homeland Security officials issued a statement pleading with Mecklenburg County officials not to release 22-year-old illegal alien Jesus Quintero Fernandez of Venezuela from jail without first notifying Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents of his release. Quote, because of the Biden administration's disastrous CBP-1 app, this illegal alien was allowed to come into the country and commit these murders, DHS's Lauren Bliss said in a statement. Indeed, Fernandez used the Biden administration's CBP-1 mobile app to schedule an appointment at a southern border in July of 2023. He was subsequently approved for release into the interior. Fernandez has been arrested and charged with first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill by inflicting serious injury, possession of a stolen firearm, and felony conspiracy. Police allege that Fernandez murdered 44-year-old Ludvin Antonio Guzman Morales on January 24th in a shooting, and later on March 22nd, murdered Luis Gutierrez Mora. Fernandez was arrested. Gutierrez Mora. Fernandez was arrested for the murders on March 23rd. Now, once again, this was a guy who, if our borders were closed, would not be here, meaning there would be 2 murder charges that wouldn't exist had the Biden administration done his job and actually enforced our borders. Instead, he put in a fast lane. That's what the Biden administration did. So, if you want to know why we're doing what we're doing, it's because here's the thing. And I've used this number before. Right now, we know somewhere between 15 and 20 million people came into our country. We know the 15 million is the encounters that were had at the border and the known gotaways. The other 5 million is an estimate of, unknown gotaways. But let's take the lower of the 2 numbers. Let's take the 15 million. Let's say that 1% of them are here seeking to do our country harm. 1%. That's 1 out of 100. You do realize that's 150,000 people. Let me say that again. 150,000 people. That's if it's only 1% are here to do us harm. And the thing is that in most cases, we have no idea who they are. We have no idea who these people are who came in. That's why we have to apprehend them. That's why we then need to vet them. That's why we need to get those who are violent out of our country. And when we know that they're guilty of violence, and once again, this is a guy who not only did we just let him in, he's now committed murders, and he's in a county that has said, yeah, we're a sanctuary county, meaning we won't work with ICE, which means that if they give him bail, they're not going to tell ICE before they let him out. They're not. If they let him release him on ROR, if they're a sanctuary county, there's a good chance they're a no bail county. So if they just let him out, well, he'll disappear in the country. Instead, when they could easily just notify ICE, and ICE will come get him. But they would rather have him roaming the streets. All the people doing the No Kings thing this weekend, they would rather have him roaming the streets than in custody. Which is still funny to me because I still keep people saying, well, nobody wants criminals running the streets. Then why are you messing with ICE agents? Why don't you let them do their jobs? Why don't you tell in your sanctuary jurisdictions, why don't you tell the elected officials, let them into your jail so that they can take these guys, they can pick these guys up and take them and deport them? Why not? These are criminal illegals. Well, but they're going after everybody. No, they're not going after everybody. When they pull a car over, it's because there's some sort of documented link between that car and a criminal illegal. Someone who is either committed a crime before they got here and it has been discovered, committed a crime while they were here, or have an active order of deportation, meaning they've gotten their due process and it's time for them to go. The courts have said it's time for them to go. That's who they're seeking. Now, if you happen to be driving a car that's owned by somebody who fits that description and you too are in the country illegally, well, then, yeah, you're going to get swept up too. We're not just going to let you go, especially if you are choosing to attack federal agents. I don't know why this point is lost on people. It makes no sense. It just seems like just regular old common sense. Oh, I keep forgetting Orange Man bad. Always got to remember that. Got to compensate for the TDS. TDS will, when you throw in Orange Man bad, all of a sudden a lot of these things make sense. Anyway, that now brings us to our last story. Major airports return to normal as TSA workers get paid. Now, this was an interesting one. So Trump put out an executive order basically to pay the TSA agents, right? And so the only question was going to be, were the Democrats going to sue? Because constitutionally, he didn't have the authority to do that. He didn't. Constitutionally, the power of the purse lies in Congress. But here's the thing. He does it. If they want to fight about it, they then have to file a lawsuit to stop him. Say, nope, you can't do that. You're violating the Constitution separation of powers. And he did. But then the Democrats would be on record suing to make sure that TSA agents did not get paid. Was that a gangsta move or what? Was that a gangsta move or what? Let me read a little bit of the story here coming from Reuters. It says there major U.S. airports return to normal as TSA workers get paid. U.S. major airports that suffered massive disruptions for weeks after 50,000 Transportation Security Administration security officers went unpaid since mid-February say operations are returning to normal. Airports in Baltimore, Houston, New York, New Orleans, and Dallas, which have all experienced massive delays in recent weeks, all reported very short lines on Monday. The standoff brought chaos and, in some cases, security lines topping 4 hours, the longest in TSA's nearly 25-year history. President Donald Trump signed an emergency directive on Friday ordering TSA workers to get paid despite failure of Congress to end the 45-day-old partial government shutdown. And Homeland Security Department said workers started getting paid Monday, the agency said. DHS said most TSA officers on Monday received a retroactive paycheck that included at least 2 full weeks' paychecks and plans to provide workers with the remainder of the partial missed paycheck from the beginning of the shutdown as soon as possible. Asked why Trump did not sign the order earlier to pay TSA officers, White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt said, existential crisis at the U.S. airports prompted the emergency action last week. Now, once again, certain executive orders, certain things the president can do if there's an existential crisis. Basically saying is it turned into an existential crisis. Once again, this is not me not saying I believe he did the right thing. I 100% believe he did the right thing. By the way, I'm no lawyer and I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I don't know. But my understanding is not technically, but he did not have the power to do that, and Congress could have easily put up a vote, and Democrats would have had to vote to say, yeah, no, he doesn't have a right. He doesn't have the right to do that. And do they really want to be on record saying that? Now, mind you, I just also wanted to note, it's not just the TSA workers who weren't getting paid. It was anybody in Homeland Security. And I need, well, I would say, no, I take that back because ICE in particular ICE and the Border Patrol are funded. They've already got funding that's going to last them a while. So they're getting paid. But I want you to understand the threat that that Democrats were putting the U.S. under. Folks, we're in the middle of a war right now, or a conflict or an engagement right now with Iran, and Iran has already called on people to commit acts of terrorism here in the United States. Homeland Security is directly tasked with making sure that doesn't happen, and they don't want them funded. Right? They wanted to allow people to be able to fly into the country or come across the border into the country, although they already let 20 million of them in. But they wanted to make it easier for them to be able to come in and commit acts of terrorism against you here in the United States. I'm just saying, just be full aware of what their political posturing how it is putting us at risk, how it put you at risk, how it put your family and your children at risk. That's no small thing. Keep that in mind when you go to vote. All right, folks, that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code of the rundown, all caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there. You're going to get your Hog Holster on discount. I'm going to bring you a couple of these, a few more of these from the No Kings protest. Here's one. Are these kings you fear in the room with us right now? And it's got a pink-haired lady with the No King sign, and the psychiatrist is asking her if, because, okay, if I need to explain it, it's probably not that funny, but I'll just say it again. Yeah, there are no kings in the United States. Anyway, and then you've got this one for those who are out there who are like, yeah, we're losing this war. You got the guy in the tunic with the American who's standing up. Got his sword, his hand on his sword, with the American flag on. Then you've got the soldier. This is from Monty Python with the Iranian flag. It says it's just a flesh wound. That is how well this war right now is going. Yeah, they're not doing a whole lot out there. All right, that now brings me to a couple other of our parting shots. Did I get a chance to get that uploaded? I did not upload that one, did I? Okay, let me upload this one real quick because this one is funny, and I wanted you folks to be able to watch this real quick. It had me cracking up, and then my computer is taking forever for me to be able to do that. Oh, wait, there you go. Yeah, I got to be a little more on top of this. This is a great one. This is for those of you who are still mourning the loss of Chuck Norris. I think you will enjoy this one.
Okay, I just had a hopeful thought. What if Chuck Norris isn't dead, and instead he's just been deployed to Iran for like a secret mission in order to... Wait a second, how long ago was it? It's about a week. Never mind. If Chuck had been in Iran for a week, the entire country would be liberated and the Ayatollah would be a Southern Baptist by now.
I will always play the Chuck Norris ones if I get a chance. They're hilarious. Anyway, folks, that brings us to the end of our program. But before we go, I want to go ahead and give another quick shout out to our sponsors. We've got Hitman Industries, the maker of rifle and pistol caliber barrels, available for you to purchase at any length at hitmanindustries.net. We've got the California Republican Assembly, referred to by Ronald Reagan as the conscience of the Republican Party. Check them out at cragop.org. We've got the best in concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market at hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, helping Americans wear guns. And then finally, we've got the place where you can find all things tactical except the gun, and that would be at uscombatgear.com. All right, folks, that's it for today's program. We will be back tomorrow on Taco Tuesday. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and we will see you mañana.